Yo, what is going on, YouTube? DFJ Hoops here, back again with another live stream. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Um, we got a great show for y'all today. Ace Bailey bails on the Sixers, and then the second topic that we're going to get into is that the Philadelphia 76ers just closed the door on their future. Those are the two topics that we're going to get into. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Um, Salute to my guy Humble, always coming in here showing love and support. Appreciate you, bro. Says King DFJ. I appreciate you, bro. Cleveland Cavaliers fan. So salute the Humble, and then salute to my guy One Mike, Boston Celtics fan, who's always supporting me over here at DFJ Hoops. Appreciate you, bro. Salute. Keep the shows coming through like usual. Appreciate you. Yeah, now I did on Tuesday. I did say that I had a show coming on Wednesday, but I pushed that after the NBA Finals. I'm gonna cover that show after the NBA Finals. So appreciate you. Salute to my guy. Teacher got game. Appreciate you, bro. He says sad day. I'm crying, not really. Get me VJ Edgecombe. We're definitely gonna get into it. And then also shout out to my guy Michkovsky in the building, bro. Appreciate you. He says what's good. Y'all should definitely go check him out. I was on his show last night and he was doing the mock draft where he picked Ace Bailey number 3. So y'all should definitely go check him out. Sixer fan. He knows his stuff through and through, knows what he's talking about. So yeah, appreciate y'all. Let's just get right into it. So Ace Bailey bails on the Sixers. Now, me personally, I don't typically sleep early. Like I don't go to bed early. I usually stay up late. And at around 11:30, 11:35, 11:40, I got the notification that Rutgers star Ace Bailey cancels his meeting with the 76ers because on Tuesday we got a report that said that Ace Bailey was going to be interviewing with the Sixers. He was going to meet with the Sixers and then have his pre-draft workout with the team on Friday. He was supposed to meet with the team Thursday. He was supposed to meet with them today, and then tomorrow, they do the draft, they do the workout or whatever. But late last night, that's when the notification came through that he just canceled the meeting and he was no longer going to be meeting with the Sixers to talk things out and potentially have the pre-draft workout. Now, me personally, when I first saw the report or when I first got the notification, I thought it was definitely a bad look. Not from his part only, but also from his representation, his team. That was just not a good look because I feel like you don't cancel that late, especially if you're looking to get drafted. Now, Ace Bailey definitely has the talent. He has the potential. I see a lot of potential in him. He has a high ceiling. I think he could definitely be a star in this league. But, I think the people around him are just not giving him good advice. And it may not just be from him because, he's a young kid, 18-year-old. He's just a young kid. So I think he's not getting good advice from his team. Now, you might ask yourself, like, why would Ace Bailey cancel on the Sixers? And I think there's a few reasons that could have went into that decision and him not meeting with no team. In case you didn't know, he hasn't met with any team so far. He hasn't worked out for any team. So, but there could be reasons why he doesn't want to meet with the Philadelphia 76ers. And I think I kind of know a few reasons why he doesn't want to meet with the team. And number one, I think Teacher Got Game even alluded to this early on in the comment section. I think that his team and he himself, I think he wants to play for a team where if he gets drafted to the team, he will get guaranteed playing time. He will be the focal point in the offense. He will get the amount of touches that he wants. He will get numerous amount of touches, numerous amount of shots, and could potentially be the star player of the team and potentially, get to the bag, get paid, take care of his family or whatever. So I think that's one of the reasons why. And then looking at the Sixers situation right here, I mean, the Sixers, you have the Sixer team and the Sixers, coming out with a report that they plan to run it back with the same team, with the same core. And with the core, I mean, with Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid. If you're Ace Bailey looking at the situation, right, you're coming into a team and you're going to be playing behind 3 star caliber players, right? Joel Embiid is still a star, whether you think, no matter what you think about him, his injury history or whatever, he's still a star caliber player. Tyrese Maxey's an up and coming star. I think he's already a star, but he's a star caliber player. And then Paul George, no matter your thought process about him. I mean, he's still a star too, in my opinion. So if you're Ace Bailey, getting drafted to a situation like this, you're not going to be featured as much in the offense, right? You're not going to get unlimited amount of touches because you're playing behind these three guys, and then you might not be the focal point in the offense, and you might have to take a reduced role in order to play for the 76ers. And maybe his team just looks at it as a bad look because they want him to go into a situation and be the star caliber player from the start and not play behind anybody else. And that's why I think that he decided to cancel the interview or not meet with the Sixers, because if you get drafted to the team, your goals or your plans for your career is not going to come to fruition from the beginning. You might have to take a reduced role, play behind Joel Embiid, play behind Paul George, and then play behind Tyrese Maxey. And, if you're in a situation like that, you're not going to get to the bag as quickly. In the beginning, your numbers are going to, significantly decline, kind of like Kawhi Leonard, right? Let's look at Kawhi Leonard. When Kawhi Leonard came in, now, obviously, Kawhi was not the caliber of player that he is right now. When he came in the league, he was like a defensive guy. But later on, when he transformed into this star caliber player, guess what? In the beginning, his numbers were really significantly low because he took a reduced role. He was playing as a defender, like he was the point of attack defender and was a catch and shoot guy. He wasn't really featured that much in the offense, and his role offensively wasn't that high. So his numbers from the beginning is not really impressive. But later on, when he became a superstar, later on when he became the man, later on, guess what? His numbers started to go up, and he has superstar caliber numbers. So if you put Ace Bailey in that same situation, coming into a situation like this with the Sixers, his numbers is going to be very, very low, and he might not even get to the bag as quickly. He may not be a star from the beginning because you have these, one, two, or three guys on the team, and that's not really going to help him in terms of his numbers and, in terms of his pathway to superstardom. So that's probably why he canceled the meeting with the Sixers. Now, the Sixers still have all the leverage. The Sixers could still decide to draft him, right? Because I think the Sixers did not work out. I mean, Tyrese Maxey didn't come in for the workout. I mean, that was a different situation because COVID played a part in it. But the point I'm trying to make here is that the Sixers did not have a workout with Maxey, and then guess what? They still ended up drafting him at number 21. Jared McCain did not work out for the Sixers, and he still was able to get drafted by the Sixers. So people still believe that the Sixers could still draft Ace Bailey. This is not that big of a deal. But me personally, I think it's a bad look because you have to meet with the team. You have to go in. You have to interview with the team. You have to work out with the team and let the team know what you're about, who you are, and what you stand for. I view the NBA draft kind of like going to medical school, right? If you go to medical school or if you're applying to medical school, you may think that your GPA, you got a 3.8, 3.9 GPA. You scored in the 97 or 98 percentile in the MCATs. Your letters of recommendations is great, but you still got to go for the interview, right? If you decide not to go for the interview, guess what? No medical school is going to accept you into their institution because they want you to come in. They want to interview you. And like I said, they want to know who you are, what you stand for, and what you're about. So, and I compare this situation to the same thing because, you look at Ace Bailey, he's a great talent, has a lot of potential, has a high ceiling, but, you got to go in for the interview. So, but I mean, like I said, the Sixers still have all the leverage in the world at this point, right? Because they can then decide, okay, we still have the number 3 pick within the draft. So guess what? To all the other teams that potentially want Ace Bailey, right? So the Utah Jazz, like Tisha Got Game said, the Utah Jazz and the Washington Wizards, like, what are you willing to give up to get the pick to potentially draft Ace Bailey? So the Sixers still got the leverage in the world. Or the Sixers can then say, you know what? We're gonna still draft you, but guess what? We ain't gonna play you. We're gonna put you on the bench. We're gonna put you on the bench and let you rot on the bench and not give you no playing time whatsoever. And that's gonna significantly hurt you. Now, I'm not saying that's what the Sixers are gonna do, but that's a pathway the Sixers could take if they really want to be petty, right? If I'm Daryl Morey, if I want to be petty, guess what? I'm gonna go in that same direction, that same route, and try to teach him a lesson. But I think it's just a bad look, because teams might view you differently. and even the team that might even draft you, they might not even look at you the same way. So I think it's absolutely, it's very very terrible. And he is getting bad. He is getting bad advice from his representation, but I kind of get it because they want him to be a star and get to the bag much quicker. And if you get drafted to the Sixers, that process might be a little bit. It might take a while. But if you go to the Utah Jazz is a poverty franchise, and guess what? You're going to get the bulk of the shots. You're going to get numerous amount of touches, and you're going to be the focal point on the offense. And Washington too, you can get to the bag quicker, right? If you're putting up numbers, because we see a ton of bad, a ton of players, not bad players, but a ton of players put up bad numbers on bad teams. I mean, put up good numbers on bad teams, and guess what? They get to the bag. We saw Bradley Beal get a supermax contract with the Washington Wizards, right? So that's something that could potentially happen. So I think that's the pathway he wants to go into, which I think is very, very bad because, he's showing you that he doesn't really have the mindset of a team. He's not really bought in. He's showing you that he's not going to really buy into a team concept, right? He's showing you that he's only focused on himself and him getting his numbers, him getting to his bag, and, being the man on the team. He's not really willing to buy into the team concept. But if you look at VJ Ashcombe on the other hand, I mean, according to sources, he's really a team person. Like, he does everything for the team. He's very, very humble. And no matter what role you give him, he's definitely going to play in that role and do it to the best of his ability. So I think if I'm to predict right now, I don't know what the Sixers are going to do next week because the draft is next week. But if I'm to predict, I think the Sixers might end up drafting VJ Edgecombe because this situation right here with Ace Bailey, he's showing you all the signs that he's not going to be bought. He's not going to buy into a team concept, and he's going to be focused on himself and himself only. Let me read a few of these comments right here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I see RJ in the building. Salute to RJ. Salute to the boy RJ. Appreciate you, bro. He says Ace is the next Ben Simmons. No, I mean, for number one, I think Ace will definitely be a much better player than Ben Simmons. I think Ace definitely has a better work ethic than Ben Simmons. But, his attitude, from the beginning is just not good. But I think Ace will be a much better player than Ben Simmons for sure. Um, Tisha Got Game says Bailey was on a bad team and wasn't even the best player on that bad team, and he has the audacity to want to be the number one option. Yeah, I mean, some of these prospects, but I mean, he's predicted to be a top three prospect, so he feels as though that he has all the leverage in the world. But sometimes, these teams have more leverage than you might actually think. But yeah, I think the Sixers might end up going in a different direction. I mean, me personally, I still want the Sixers to draft Ace Bailey because, like I said, his potential has a high ceiling, and I could see him being a franchise player in a very near future. So I mean, I really respect his talent. I believe in him. But his attitude, from the beginning, I mean, especially canceling the pre-draft workout at that time, that was definitely terrible. That's kind of like calling out from work like an hour and a an hour and a half before you clock in, and that's very very bad. That's not good. It's just a bad look, right? It's just a bad look, and I wish he would have came in for the pre-draft workout, but at this point, I think it's just too late at this point. But I mean, there are other reports saying that Ace Bailey wanted the Sixers to promise him that he would be guaranteed he would be drafted or guaranteed a starting spot or whatever that is. Which I mean, as a rookie coming into to a situation like the Sixers, I mean, I don't think you should look to start right away. You should look to at least earn the right that you deserve to be in the starting lineup. I mean, even like let's play this game. Even if he got drafted by the Sixers, I still believe that the Sixers would have still started him over Kelly Oubre, and then bring Kelly Oubre off the bench because Ace Bailey is that dude. Ace Bailey could be that guy, right? You can play him at the 3 or 4 position, and he's definitely going to give you everything and a little bit more than what Kelly Oubre gives you. So but the thing is that his number is gonna take a dip because you're playing with Joel Embiid, you're playing with Maxey, you're playing with Paul George, right? And you might get a few amount of shots, you might not get the same amount of touches on offense, and you may not be featured as much in offense, but at this point, yeah, it is what it is at this point. Teacher Got Game says Matisse Thybulle and Embiid didn't work out for the Sixers either. Right, but guess what? They ended up getting drafted by the Sixers. Now Matisse Thybulle, well, I would even want to get into the Thybulle thing, but yeah, I mean, it still could happen, right? It still could happen, and the Sixers have not ruled out any chances of them drafting Ace Bailey. So that could still happen. But I mean, I just think that him not coming in for the workout is just a bad look, in my opinion. It's just a bad look. Yeah. What's going on, RJ? What's going on, man? I be seeing you. You doing your thing on the ground. I be seeing you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Um, Teacher Got Game says, to be fair though, 5 months ago we were looking to draft a guy who could start. Harper and Flag will both start on the Sixers, and there's a need for Bailey. Wait, Harper and Flag would both start on the Sixers, and there's a need for Bailey. I mean, I think Bailey could start too. Right next to Paul George. Right. I think at this point, you put Paul George at the 4 position since you don't want to trade him. Right. You put him at the 4, stick him in the weak side corner. Not make him the point of attack defender because he's always going to get exposed. But yeah, I think Ace could definitely play the 3. And he could be a good contributor to a team like the Sixers. But again, his numbers is gonna he's going to have to sacrifice his numbers, right? He's not going to average 20, right? If you're playing on a team with like the Sixers, and if Joel Embiid is going to be healthy, I mean, I don't know his health situation right now. I mean, I'm going to get into it in a few minutes here, but if you're playing with Maxey, George, and Embiid, you're not going to get to your numbers like that. So, and you're not gonna be a star, right? So that's probably the reason why they don't want to come in and see the Sixers and potentially get drafted by the Sixers. But I mean, I still think it could still happen. The Sixers could still, we're not gonna let this talent go away that easily. We can still draft him and give him a role, suitable for his skill set, and we can build from there. But at this point, me personally, if I'm to guess, I think that they will definitely go in a direction to draft a VJ Edgecombe because his personality has been great. He was a great person. Not a great person. He was great in his interview when they met with him and went through the whole interview process. The pre-draft workout and all that. He was there was no difficulties, not any challenges throughout that whole process. So I think that they might go in that direction, and then also what he brings on the table with his defense and his two-way. I mean, not really a great two-way player, but his defense from a backcourt position, playing him with if you pair him alongside Tyrese Maxey, Maxey's not going to get exposed as much because VJ could play some good defense. But I mean, as a rookie coming in, he'll definitely struggle. He'll definitely struggle just like Justin Edwards struggled when he was guarding some of these best players from the wing position because it's a different monster, right? But Ace Bailey, to be honest, like I was really rooting for him to get drafted by the Sixers, even though it could still happen. But this whole thing is just terrible. It's just terrible. Um, Teacher Got Game says Porzingis, Tatum, and other players turned down workouts. It's not that big of a deal, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, it's not. It's not. But I mean, me personally, I look at it. I think I'm looking at it from a different point of view. And at the time in which he canceled it, or they canceled. Now, okay, we don't know. Let me correct this. We don't know what time they canceled it, but the time at which we got the notifications or we got the report, I think it was a bad look. But still, the Sixers could still draft him, right? They could still draft him, but him not interviewing, let's just put the Sixers aside. Him not interviewing with no other team, him not working out for no other team, it's a bad look within itself, right? It's a bad look within itself. And I think he should it might be a little bit too late at this point, but I think he should look at, some of the stories of a few other NBA players who did not, work out for any teams and, it significantly impacted where they got drafted at, right? A few players, I'm not going to say any names, but if y'all been following the NBA for a long time, you know who I'm talking about. You know the couple players I'm talking about. So, bro, you funny as hell. He says VJ has a better hairline than Ace Bailey. I'm drafting him for that alone. Yeah, that is funny. I mean, looking at these two prospects, I think I mean, Ace Bailey definitely has the higher upside, has more potential. But I think VJ could definitely fit into a team concept better than an Ace Bailey. Even though I believe Ace Bailey can be a plug and play guy, like somebody who you can insert into any situation, and he's definitely going to blend in because he's that versatile with his skill set. But I think VJ could definitely help this Sixer team a lot from a guard perspective. But yeah, this whole thing, like I said, I wasn't really into the draft, the whole draft thing, but me following this story through and through, it's just yeah, it's just drama. And it's just another Sixer, he's not even on the Sixers yet, and it's just the Sixers are back in the news once again. But um I'm gonna pivot into my next topic, and I know this topic right here is gonna piss off RJ if he's still in here. Smash that like button if y'all still listening. Appreciate y'all for tuning in on this Thursday afternoon. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. But yeah, let's pivot. So yesterday, same yesterday, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but it came to our attention that the Sixers are planning to run things back with the big three. They believe that this big three, you know, consisting of Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and Paul George, they believe that this team could compete for the 25-26 season for an NBA championship. And because of that, they are planning to run things back with the team and bring back the same exact team next season. Maybe switch around a few pieces here or there. Maybe they might lose a few pieces. I mean, Gershon, is a huge piece that they might lose in free agency, but they're hoping to bring back the same core and surround them with complementary pieces and compete for a championship in the 25-26 season. Now, like I said, I know RJ is going to be pissed off, but I'm gonna say this. For number one, we Sixer fans, a lot of Sixer fans don't really want Paul George to return because he had a terrible first season with the Sixers. Injuries did play a huge factor. Two hyperextended knees, on the same knee actually, not back to back, but I think a few months apart, right? He didn't play well. And then you couple that with Joel Embiid, who has been playing limited amount of games every single year. His MVP season, like I said, on the last show, his MVP season, he did play 66 or 69 games. I kind of don't remember. But then the next year, he played 39 games. And then this year, should I say, he played only 19, right? Only 19 games. Salute to Jaja. Jaja, appreciate you for tuning in, bro. The problem with VJ is that he won't be a starter as long as Maxey McCain are in the backcourt. Why tank a season to get a non-starter with the third overall pick? Now that is true. That's absolutely true. But bro, I don't know. This might be your first time listening to me, and I do appreciate that. Make sure you sub to the channel. This is Sixer channel. Even though we talk everything basketball, I'm not in support with the Maxey and McCain backcourt. Like I don't like that little backcourt thing. Midget backcourt is what I like to call it. I'm not in support of it. That's how I look at the game. I will never be in support of it. But VJ has good enough size on him. He can play from a point of attack defense perspective. He can get on these bigger guards. Because I think we're heading into an era where it's going to be a lot of bigger guards. The LaMelo Balls, the Tyrese Halliburtons, I call him Halliburger. The Tyrese Halliburtons, the Cade Cunningham, like they're going to be a lot of big guards. So you need to counter those big guards with your own big guards on the defensive side of the floor. And I don't think Maxey or Jared McCain can take that assignment from that defensive perspective and be a very, very good defender on these bigger guards, because that's the era that we're heading into. So me personally, I don't support that. And if they want to draft VJ, now I get you, like, bro, I want them to draft Ace because you don't tank all that years to get the third pick and pick somebody like VJ. But Ace is showing you that he's not really going to be bought into a team concept, right? He really wants to be in a situation where he's that featured within the offense. He's getting the bulk of the shots. He's getting the numerous amount of touches. and he can get to his money that quick. And he's not showing you that he will be willing to be a team player. So in that case, if a guy is showing you that early on before you can even draft him, guess what? You would have to go in you have to go in a different direction. And if you go with the VJ, if you draft VJ Edgecombe, guess what? You're getting somebody who is not as good as Ace Bailey, absolutely, but you're getting somebody who can, play in the guard position, whether it's next to Maxey, next to Jeremy Kane, right? You're getting somebody of that caliber who is a bigger guard. I mean, he's not that big, but I mean, obviously bigger than Maxey and Jeremy Kane at 6'5". And guess what? He can, take that assignment on the defensive side of the floor. I mean, that's how I'm looking at it. I mean, you can draft on role players. We've seen other teams draft role players, and guess what? They ended up going to win the NBA championship. Or maybe even if they didn't win the championship, they made deep postseason runs, and they were definitely in the midst of winning a championship. So that's how I'm looking at it. He says I put Trey Johnson before VJ. Now I don't know if the Sixers have met with Trey Johnson. I don't know what the whole process with that is. I'm thinking they haven't, which I mean there's still time, but I mean we haven't heard any rumors. We haven't heard anything of the Sixers, possibly selecting Trey Johnson over VJ. So according to multiple reports, VJ Edgecombe is the favorite to go third overall if the Sixers do not draft Ace Bailey. So, but I mean, there's still time for the Sixers to decide. But I still believe that the Sixers are going to draft Ace Bailey because they scouted him the entirety of last season, right? They were at his games, watching him, and they really have interest in drafting him. So, I still believe that could happen. My problem is VJ is the type of guy you can trade for. Also, I'm not convinced he can stop Brunson or Halliburton or even Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, you mentioned some of the best guards in the league. Now, I'm not saying he's gonna come in and lock those dudes up. There's no locking up Donovan Mitchell. There's no locking up Tyrese Halliburton. There's no locking up Jalen Brunson. I mean, if he's guarding Jalen Brunson is gonna definitely get to the free throw line a lot of times because he's a rookie, not really used to the NBA level in terms of, defense and the physicality. So guess what? Jalen Brunson is definitely going to put him in foul trouble, and he's not even going to have that defensive impact in the game, right? But I think he can make it very, very difficult. He can make them work for their points, make it tough. I mean, he'll provide more resistance than a Tyrese Maxey. He'll provide more of a resistance than Jeremy Kane. That's how I'm looking at it. But I mean, I'm with y'all. I want us to go for Ace Bailey. But Ace will show you that he don't want to be with the team. He's not bought into a team, team concept. So at that point, do you still draft him or you go the other way? So I think this is definitely going to be a difficult decision for the Sixers to make. And whatever decision they come to, hopefully it's a decision that helps the Sixers in the future. But yeah, let me get back to what I was saying. With the Sixers, still, coming to a decision that they want to run it back with the big three, right? I don't think it's a big three, but they call it a big three, so let's call it a big three. I don't think it's gonna end well for the Sixers because for number one, Embiid has been playing in limited amount of games season after season. So meaning if we go off his track record, guess what? He's gonna play in limited amount of games for next year, right? And then you got Paul George also. One second. Yeah, sorry about that, Joe. Sorry. But yeah, I think it's not going to be a good decision because number one, your star players are playing. They're always getting hurt. They're playing limited amount of games, and if your star players are not on the floor, guess what? You're not going to be that competitive. You're not going to be a championship contender because you need your best players out there to go with the role players in order to be a championship team. And if Joel Embiid is going to play a limited amount of minutes, if Paul George is going to half-ass the whole season and not want to be the first or second option and just want to go out there, jack up shots and not take anything serious, guess what? You're not going to be a championship caliber team. So I think this is definitely going to blow up in the face of the Sixers. VJ is a role player. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that. He's a he's a role player, absolutely. And that's why. And guess what? That's why I don't want us to waste a third pick on a role player, right? You don't waste that high draft pick on a role player or a player of his caliber, right? But I mean, I think at this point, you do what you got to do at that point. Um, Josh says we can draft Ace first and see what the Utah Jazz, the Washington Wizards, the Brooklyn Nets, and the New Orleans Pelicans are willing to pay. Those teams still very much want him. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And those are the teams where if he gets drafted to those teams, he can absolutely be a star caliber player. I mean, you're talking about teams who don't really have that good, good players or good talents on the team. Teams who what we call poverty franchises, right? The Pelicans, the Washington Wizards, these are not good teams. So he can definitely, get to those teams like that and be the focus or be the focal point on the offense and get his numbers and get paid and that could be his pathway to stardom, right? So that could very much work for him. But again, the Sixers have all the leverage in the world because the Sixers get to dictate what they want within that package. Or the Sixers could even trade down, but you have to, if you're the Utah Jazz, if you're the Washington Wizards, you're gonna have to give the Sixers, very good assets in order to get the pick or get the talent himself on your team. So yeah, like somebody said, we're choosers, we're not beggars. So I think the Sixers have all the leverage in the world at this point for sure. Teacher Guy Game says if we leave this draft with a role player, if we leave this draft with a role player, I'd rather have Khan and pick up an extra draft pick. That's another point. I don't want us to leave this draft with a role player, especially at the third. With the third pick, you don't draft a role player. You draft somebody who could be a franchise cornerstone. And looking at Ace Bailey, he could absolutely be that, right? He could absolutely be that. And I mean, we might, I don't know, but we might be underestimating VJ to a certain degree because we don't know the caliber of player he's going to develop into and maybe in the next few years. But I mean, yeah, I think with the third pick, you draft somebody who could be a franchise cornerstone. And I would definitely go for Ace Bailey more than anything. So, yeah. Um, the lower the pick, the lower the pick is from the other team, the more assets I want back. Nets, yeah, the Nets, yeah, Brooklyn got a lot of picks. They got a lot of picks from the KD and the Kyrie trade, right? They got a shit ton of assets from Dallas and from Phoenix. So if we could, negotiate with the Brooklyn Nets and I mean Brooklyn, Ace could go to Brooklyn. I mean, that's New York. I mean that might not be the Knicks, but it's still New York. And he could be the star caliber player that he wants to be, he's gonna definitely jack up a bunch of shots with Cam Thomas, right? They gonna jack up shit. But yeah, that could be a good situation for him. In terms of his pathway to stardom. But the Sixers are gonna have to get a lot of assets from that trade, in my opinion. B Pump Brian Pumper, your shout out to him. He says I'm not underestimating anything. VJ is. Hey, salute to Brian Pumper, bro. I saw you. I think I saw you in the chat on Locked On NBA. That late. So shout out to you though. But I mean, yeah. I mean, we don't know who he's gonna develop into. So we might, like I said, we might be underestimating him a little bit. But he would have to prove to us that he could absolutely improve into a star caliber player. I mean, me personally, when I watch him, I don't see star caliber. I don't see any star potential. But when I watch Ace Bailey, you could tell that he's got that dog in it. The way I see it, if we are trading back, I need a first rounder from a likely lottery team in 2026. I mean, absolutely, absolutely, for sure. For sure. I mean, you don't get the third pick for nothing, right? So if you're gonna trade down, you should get something, something lottery wise, maybe in this year's draft or the next season's draft, right? So that is absolutely true. Teacher Got Game says, give me Cam Thomas, pick number 8, and our 2027 pick, and Ace is yours, Brooklyn. That's a fair trade. That's a fair trade. I mean, we could have Cam Thomas, and Cam Thomas he's a walking bucket, right? Whether he's starting or coming off the bench, he's a microwave scorer, and he could definitely help the Sixers. But I mean, Cam Thomas has been dealing with injuries, so I don't know the risk. I don't know if you would be willing to take that risk right there. He's been dealing with a lot of hamstring issues, calf issues, and I don't know if we would be willing to add him to our team. You know, dealing with Paul George and Joel Embiid, who are both injury prone themselves. Brian Pumper says, "I'll take Ace, then leverage his value if other teams got Trey." I think that's the direction the Sixers got to go into, for sure. Yeah, I think they should go in that. They should head in that direction. Definitely, definitely. Yep. Yeah, still drafting, still bring him on the team. Right, draft him, bring his little ass over here. But yeah, the Sixers, wanting to run things back. I mean, how many times would you have to play this over and over again to get the same result? I mean, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is insanity. So I don't know if you would be willing to to run this back and, with the same head coach, right? The same complementary pieces. Now we might lose a few players, right? We might lose a few players in free agency. I think Gershon is Gershon is that's a huge that's the huge what if, right? But we might lose a few complementary pieces. And I mean, I don't know if this would be the right decision to go into because I think at this point, Joel Embiid, the knee, 2 back-to-back knee surgeries, Paul George, dealing with a ton of knee injuries through last season. I mean, he's had his fair share of injuries himself, right? I don't think it's a good idea to run things back with the same core. But what if they prove us wrong? What if Joel Embiid stays healthy for the majority of next year? What if Paul George stays healthy the majority of next year? What if Tyrese Maxey works on his game and adds that playmaking factor into his game? How does the Sixers look from next year? I mean, for next year. If that happens, I think the Sixers are a very, very good team. The Sixers will be a very, very good team, and they could possibly be a top five seed, um, in the East, right? They could be a top 5 seed in the East, and guess what? They are. If Embiid can stay healthy, if everybody else can stay healthy, guess what? They are championship contenders for sure. Because the one thing we haven't seen is Embiid be healthy throughout a full playoff run. So if we can get that, then the Sixers are they're going to be difficult to stop. But how likely is this, right? How likely will Joel Embiid play 60 plus games and be healthy for the majority of next season? How likely is Paul George going to be healthy for next season? I just don't know. And going off their track record, it's likely not going to happen because they have been declining season after season. And Paul George, not just his health, but his level of play has been declining too because, he had multiple opportunities last year with Joel Embiid being out. He had multiple opportunities with Maxey being out, where he was supposed to be the number one guy, and guess what? He showed us the same level of play when he plays with Joel Embiid and Maxey, which is he doesn't really want to establish dominance and be the best player on the floor. So I don't think this is going to be a good decision. Me personally, if you have the opportunity, you got to get the 2 guys off the team and go in a different direction. And that's where I'm at with it. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I know my guy Trust the Love on Instagram. Y'all should definitely check him out. I know he's going to disagree with me. He absolutely believes in this core. He believes that Paul George, Embiid, and Maxey can absolutely be those 3 guys to, you know, help lead a team to a championship, possibly. But I mean, me personally, it's just the injuries is just too much, and the Sixers got to go in a different direction because these guys are getting older, and the older they get, the more it becomes difficult for you to move these guys. So that's my opinion with it. Brian Pumper says, "I hate Daryl Morey." I mean, I think at this point, every every Sixer fan hates Daryl Morey, right? But Daryl Morey is also trying to prove to us trying to prove the Sixer fans that the decision that he made last year is not a bad decision, and that Paul George could absolutely help this team hopefully win a championship. So he's definitely going to go with his guts, and he is willing to prove Sixer fans wrong. So if he's able to prove us wrong, guess what? We will accept that we were wrong, and guess what? We'll tip our caps to him. But if we end up being right, then guess what? Daryl Morey will definitely get fired. All I know is Philly finna boo the fuck out of Ace Bailey if he really is trying to duck the Sixers. I mean that. Yeah, he would definitely get booed on every single touch if he comes to Philly. And but I mean, is he really trying to duck the Sixers? I mean, I don't think he's trying to duck the Sixers. He's trying to get to a situation where I could be a star quick. I think that's his mindset. That's the mindset from his representation, and that's how I look at it. I don't think he thinks the Sixers are a bad team or a terrible franchise. I don't think that's it. I don't think that's the case. Because if the Sixers were a bad team, like the what you call it, if the Sixers were a bad team as the Washington Wizards, which I mean they were last season. They were last season. I mean, your star players were not on the floor. But I mean, I think if we had the same caliber players, I think he would definitely want to come to the Sixers and be a star. So absolutely. I hate Nurse wasting valuable playing time on inefficient old veterans. Yeah, Nick Nurse was very, very stubborn from last season point of view. Playing Kyle Lowry all those minutes and letting Jeremy McCain earn his minutes. But I mean, in a way, I think that kind of like it lit a fire under Jeremy McCain because he probably looked at that situation like, I mean, I'm a much better player right now than Kyle Lowry. He's old, he's washed, but I mean, I'm a rookie. I don't have that much miles on my legs. I can absolutely go. I can shoot the ball. I can make a difference on the Sixer team. And guess what? When he got the opportunity, he earned Nick Nurse's trust. So I think, as bad as it was, I think there was some positive. I mean, it was a lot of negatives, but there's a positive that came out because Jeremy McCain proved that he can absolutely be a good contributor on a team such as the Sixers. So yeah. He says, Andre, this dude might be getting this dude might be getting that Ben Simmons treatment. Right. And the funny thing is he's not even gonna be a Sixer to get that treatment. That is crazy. But hey, we gotta understand him from his perspective, his point of view, and we gotta understand where he's coming from. So hey, if you don't want to play for the Sixers, it's all good. You can go to Brooklyn. And speaking of Brooklyn, salute to Big Fan Breezy. Appreciate you. And Breezy is somebody I ain't even gonna lie. I learned most of these players in this draft from Big Fan Breezy's channel because the Brooklyn was not a good team. They were tanking, and it was from his channel that I learned a lot of these players. So y'all should definitely check him out. Has a good personality. Very, very funny dude. So yeah. Smash that like button, y'all. Smash that like button. Smash that like button. If you're not subbed to the channel, subscribe to the channel and go check out Big Fan Breezy, his channel, the Brooklyn Nets podcast. Got good content over there. So absolutely go check him out. Tisha Got Game says if Ace turns into the next Kobe Bryant or Tracy McGrady, I'll be pissed off. This is such a huge risk, or will you push the button type of moment? Yeah, I mean it could potentially happen because I'm not gonna compare. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not comparing him to Cole, but I mean he does have that, has flashes of star level player in the very near future. Like when you watch him play, you could definitely see it. I mean, even though it's gonna take time for him to get there, you could absolutely see the flashes of a star when he plays. But I mean, as of right now, I mean, as the Sixers, do you draft him or do you go for another player who is willing to buy into a team concept, right? So, like I said, it's a difficult decision for the Sixers to make. Um, yeah, it's gonna be tough, man. I think next week the draft is next week. When exactly is the draft? Y'all can tell me. I don't know when exactly it is. But yeah. B Pump says Shams don't even know why Ace canceled. I ain't never seen Buddy like that. His reps are messing up. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It was, especially at the time that it got canceled. Like I said, it was a bad look. But you know, hey, probably have a probably have a reason why they did. Oh, Breezy says Ace wants to come to the Nets. I mean, that could be true. I mean, that could be true. He might want to go to New York. You know, the bright lights of New York. I mean, even though it's Brooklyn, it's still New York. And he's gonna get he'll potentially be the man. He'll potentially be the guy on the team. Get 30 plus minutes and be the focal point on offense, jack up shots, and get to his bag quicker. I mean, it could happen. Who knows? It could happen. I fear that Nurse will still play Lowry over McCain next season. I wouldn't be. Nah, that's not gonna happen. If the guards are healthy, I don't believe that Nick Nurse is gonna play Lowry over those guys. Trust me, I just don't believe it because last 2 seasons, DeAnthony Melton was hurt. He was dealing with the back issue. So guess what? They gave Kyle Lowry the minutes. And this year, even after Jared McCain earned his minutes, I don't think that he still would have played Kyle Lowry. Jared McCain got hurt, so that's why it became like that. But if these guys are healthy, if the guards are healthy, and he's still playing Kyle Lowry, then yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Now that when you criticize him for that, I'm not even gonna try to support him or try to come to his defense. Absolutely not. B Pump says Ace is not going to Brooklyn. He don't got a choice. Hey, I mean, shit, I think he might have a little bit of leverage here. I mean, some teams might be willing to trade up for him to get him. So, um, it could work in his favor for sure. Says thanks for the big dog salute. Yeah, no problem, Breeze. I mean, I've been tapped in with you for about like what 3 years. So yeah, I mean, I'm always support you no matter what. So we might be on different sides of the fence, from a team perspective, but yeah, I still support you no matter what. So Wednesday. So the draft is Wednesday. Okay. So a week from now. I mean 6 days from now. Yeah, it'll be interesting, man. I'm very, very intrigued to see what more reports comes out from this Ace Bailey thing. I'm really interested in this. Hopefully he is not in the news before the draft. Because situations like this could really plummet where you get drafted at. So I hope he is not in the news up until the draft. Yeah, the hotel was booked, the flights were booked, first class, probably or definitely, right? And then you bail out on the Sixers in that fashion. God damn, that's a man, that's a waste of time, man. That's a waste of time. You gotta get your refunds. The Sixers, y'all gotta get y'all refunds. Gotta get them refunds. Oh man. Now they're saying he want to be near Tennessee, so the Pelicans, so New Orleans. So I mean, okay, if he gets drafted to the Pelicans, I mean Brandon Ingram is not there. I mean Herb Jones, Trey Murphy the third or the second or whatever. I mean, I still believe he gets started. He'll probably start if Zion doesn't get moved this offseason, which I mean there's been rumors that he might get moved. But if Zion is on the team, him and Zion, they could do shit. They could do shit in the West. But will it contribute to winning? I don't know. I don't know if it contributes to winning or impacts winning. Rumors say we offered multiple first round picks to move up to 2. Yeah, I heard that too. That the Sixers are trying to get Dylan Harper because because Daryl Morey wants to create James Harden 2.0. I saw those rumors too. I don't know how true those rumors are, but I mean D Harp. I mean that's another guard, right? Another guard. I think. I mean I don't think much better than VJ, but Yeah, if they want to go in that direction, I'm gonna be in full support. Absolutely. Um, Smash that like button, y'all. Smash that like button. I got a few more minutes here. The fact that Bailey had a meeting scheduled with the Sixers and told other teams straight up should still mean something significant to us, though. Um, yeah, absolutely. He was willing. He declined a lot of teams and was willing to meet up with the Sixers. But I think another reason why he canceled the meeting was after the reports came that the Sixers are planning to run it back. I think that could have potentially been another reason why they decided to cancel the meeting. Because if they're planning to run it back, guess what? He's not going to get to be the star that we envisioned him to be early on. So we're going to go in a different direction. I think that could have fueled his decision into canceling. Now I don't know if he canceled it by himself or his team or representatives decided to cancel it on their own. But it's his representative, so he is definitely a part of that. And it's just not good. It's not a good look. But I still believe he might want to come to the Sixers. Definitely. Definitely. He says two agents with heart. Man, Paul, you funny as shit, bro. But yeah, with the Sixers, trying to run things back, I'm not I'm not really sold on it because of the health of these two players. If they're not there, it's just not gonna be it's not gonna be as it's not gonna be what Daryl Morey thinks is gonna be. So Daryl Morey for going in this direction, okay, cool, no problem. But if it backfires, your job could be on the line. Nick Nurse's job could be on the line. And a few of these players could get traded. I want these players gone. Now I'm with RJ. I bought into the same mindset as RJ. Now I wasn't fully into it in the beginning, but as of right now, yes, trade these two players. They're too injury prone. And trust the love. I apologize, bro. I know you're gonna disagree. I have no problems or no issues with people disagreeing with me. We agree to disagree all the time, but at this point, it's just nah. I want to go in a different direction. I want to go in a different direction. Trade these guys, draft Ace, wait until Ace develops into a star caliber player and try to win from there. That's my mindset. That's my approach to it. That's my approach to it. So yeah, yeah. I need Embiid to hurry up and leave. Like nigga, bounce. Right, right, exactly. And I'm the biggest Embiid fan, but at some point you just got to cut your losses, and it is what it is. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. It is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, we haven't even heard anything from the team concerning Embiid. We haven't even seen anything from Embiid, to be honest with you. Right after his surgery, the he hasn't even been that active on social media. He's not, even if he was, he's not going to give you any updates on his health, right? But the team is not telling us anything. We're not getting any updates from him. Paul George is just doing podcasts, right? He's doing podcast now. He might be working out, in his spare time or whatever. That's fine. But yeah, these guys are just not serious and trying to, you know, trying to win. And it's just that I'm going. And I'm a huge Paul George fan. Paul George is my favorite player to this day still. But it, it is what it is, bro. Yeah, bro. It's just like, yeah, I'm tired, bro. I'm tired. I'm tired of this shit. Yeah, PG's basically costing us exactly to a certain right. That is true. He says too many black players on the Sixers team. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. 407. 407, I don't know what that mean, bro. What you mean? What team has more white players than black players? What team in the NBA has more? The NBA is a predominantly black. It's more black players. There's more players that are black than. Listen, I'm not even trying to get into that conversation right now, bro. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, bro. And B getting paid to sit on the bench. Dude doesn't even go to the game sometimes. Exactly. He got an extension and only played 19 games. Think about this. He got the extension and played only 19 games last year. Now, yeah, he was hurt. We get it. Oh man, I gotta get ready to shut this down because I might end up saying certain things that I don't even have to say. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I don't think this for the last time. I don't think this is gonna work out. Now we will definitely watch the games. We'll cover the team or whatever. But this situation right here is not gonna work out. These guys don't have the right mindset. They don't have the right mentality for a winning organization. And they showed it to us last year. And Paul George showed it to us last year. I don't think next year is going to be any different. He's going to be a year older, more miles on his body, and he might even want more time for podcasts, right? So I mean, no disrespect. I mean, you doing the podcast, that's you. I can't tell another man what to do, but I can make suggestions for my team for sure. I can make suggestions for my team, and I don't think moving forward with Paul George and Joel Embiid, I don't think that's the right decision, and that's where I'm at with it. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for hanging out on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Tune in Sports. You came in early on. Appreciate you. Salute to Big Fan Breezy. Salute to my Sixer faithfuls. B Pump. Teacher got game. So a few of you guys in here. Shout out to you, JS. 407. I don't know if you a Sixer fan or you might be a troll. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I want you next time. I want comments that benefits what we're talking about. I mean, that comment right there, I don't know what that is supposed to mean. But appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Hopefully Ace Bailey gets drafted by the Sixers, and then we go from there. Peace.